of the Great Recession. We are 2 months away from the longest expansion in U.S. history. Okay, no other expansion has been this long. 2 more months. Now, growth rate will come next few weeks. We will see if this is true or not, the longest expansion in U.S. history. Now, I'd like to talk about the causes, lessons, and possibly the forecast, okay, of the next recession. Okay, how can we forecast? Look at the past recessions. Okay, what were the causes and insight of the last recessions? Okay, we had the last recession was in 2008, 2009. It was the worst since the Great Depression. Okay, in terms of unemployment, over 10% in several months, and GDP declined over 6%. Now, what caused this Great Recession? Basically, we had too much debt. Okay, loans were terrible, especially in the housing market. Okay, the housing market, it was catastrophic. There's a lot of loans in construction, in building, in mortgages. Okay, yeah, decent rates. People were borrowing money without any down payment. You know, general people work to make a payment on a house. During this time, you didn't need to work. Okay, no down payment. Okay, decent rates, very low interest rates, and you had a mortgage and you were in business. All right. Then all of a sudden the interest rates start to increase, and people cannot pay their mortgages. And there were the Fed, a lot of studies that it's contained, it's limited, the housing crisis, there's no overflowing into the economy. It's about $200 billion if that goes through. Actually, the amount was over $5 trillion. It wasn't just a recession in the United States. It was a worldwide recession because globalization, banks here in the United States, banks, business abroad, and it was very, very severe. Okay, here is Jay Powell. Okay, I call them butterfly men. Okay, because this should be okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yes. He was trying to normalize interest rates. Interest rates were so low. And the balance sheet of the Fed, okay? The balance sheet of the Fed, they were able to print over $4.5 trillion, okay? From less than $1 trillion to $4.5 trillion. I don't know the Bank of Bangladesh, but that's what the U.S. Central bank is doing, okay? Printing money, okay? And of course, you have these three guys, three musketeers here, Bernanke, Jay Powell, okay? All dangerous guys, dangerous, never, printing money. That's the solution in the United States, okay? Why? Because you print money, we have so much debt, government debt, they try to monetize the debt of the United States, business, banks, and this is Bernanke started printing money, quantitative easing, okay? Printing money, in the old days they used to print money with ink and right, smell of ink all over that place. It's just now you have computers, you push a button and money comes out, okay? And they buy mortgage-backed securities from bank, private organization. And this was now here. This is very interesting. This is the Fed's rate. Okay, the Fed rate that the Fed loans to its member banks. Now, here is the recession 2001. Okay, And notice the Fed tried to increase interest rates. This was the dot-com bubble. Okay, we all remember the dot-com bubble, right? Price earning ratio was in this stratosphere, and they increased the interest rate, and the bubble popped. Okay, bubble popped. Nasdaq was down 80%. Okay, Dow Jones over 60%, and the Fed tried to lower the interest rates. Here, they kept it so long. Okay, interest rates so low for so long, and then you have the teaser rates. You had mortgage rates, and if you were borrowing at 3% on mortgage rates, and housing prices increased 10-15%, you were doing great business, right? And that's what people did. They started borrowing on homes. You didn't need no down payment, no job history. This was the most crazy thing that ever happened in the United States. Then they found out, well, we are behind the curve. We have to increase interest rates. And the houses were increasing 10-15% a year, and you pay 2-3%. Everybody was buying homes and houses. Yeah? And they increased it. And the bubble popped here in 2007, 2000, and this was the next recession. And they lowered the interest rate so much. And they kept it here for so many years, 6-7 years of zero interest rates. And now they try to normalize again, okay? And problems are arising in normalizing these interest rates. Let's see if I could get, okay. Here, notice this. They've never been this long in the history since the 1970s. Interest rates have never been this low for so long time, all right? And the Fed is trying to normalize them, 3-4%, but the market cannot handle it, okay? They tried to normalize in December, and the end of the world was coming. The stock market was collapsing, and it's just at 2.5%. Can you imagine if you go to 5, 6, 7%, what could happen? Because Wall Street they have a drug on lower interest rates. I don't think they can normalize them. Okay, that's my hunch. And notice every time this is a recession. Anytime the Fed increases the interest rate, we have a recession. Look at this. Anytime we have a recession. Now here's the Central Bank of the United States. It was invented in 1913 until 2008. We had less than $1 trillion. 90 years, $1 trillion on the balance sheet. In 8 or 9 years, we went from less than 1 to $4.5 trillion. That's over 350% increase in money supply. 350%. During the Great Depression, the money supply only increased by 60%. 60%, right? Now, can you imagine the damage that the central bank has done, increasing to $4.5 trillion? They tried to decline the balance sheet of the Fed. That was before Christmas. At least they tried. But and here we have, if 10 years ago we had debts, today we have more debts than 10 years ago, right? We have the mortgage, all right, more than 10 years ago. We have the student loans, $1.5 trillion student loans. Auto loans, the worst auto loans disaster in 10 years, okay? And can you imagine if the Fed tries to increase the interest rates, what would happen on mortgage, on car loans, on also the government debt, okay? The government debt is borrowed. We are full of debts, okay? If 10 years was bad, notice what's going to happen the next few months or next year. Here we had the stock market, 20%, and this is, I think, just the beginning, okay? The stock in December, okay? This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This was the pre-Christmas debacle here, and here you have the European Central Banks and our, sorry, Um, Okay, here's the Fed discount rate that I have. I'm running out of time, I guess. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the growth rate, okay, before the financial crisis, Donald Trump comes out, oh yeah, we have the biggest growth rate in 2.9%, 2.9% last year. The average of Donald Trump growth rate, yeah, 2.5 the first year, 2.9 the second year. The average is what, 2.7, right? Obama had 2.7, the average in the previous couple of years. So all this big growth, great economy, I don't know where he gets it from. And here, okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the debt, okay? U.S. debt. We are over $1 trillion in U.S. government debt, over $1 trillion. That's on the budget. Off the budget, this year, we talk about $1.5 trillion. And we are in good times, okay? There's no recession, suppose we are in good time. $1.5 trillion in debt. Number one. And second, and it's increasing, okay? It's in good times. Can you imagine something happens? I hope not, but this is and the last thing, okay? Thank you very much for